Okay, today is March 18th, and I'm back out here gonna try to wrap this project up today. All, short of installing it back into the Jeep. But I wanted to draw attention here. This, I've got the steering knuckle turned. I think it's turned probably almost the whole, as far as it can go. Let me see. Okay, now it's turned as far as it can go. This fitting right there, that grease fitting, I got too close to the this tapered portion of the casting, and so I couldn't quite get the grease gun nipple on there. So rather than take the thing apart again, what I did is I got a carbide Dremel tool cutter, a thin one, and I shaved some of the cast piece here away so that I could get a so I could get the grease gun on there. You can kind of see that where I get my finger in the right place here. See where I kind of shaved it right in here, just open it up a little bit so I can get to that grease fitting. So won't affect the integrity of this piece at all, and that was certainly easier than taking the thing back apart again. So anyway, gonna get started on the rest of this, get these axles put together and slid into place. And here we go. Okay, so you gotta be real careful on these cups that go on these U-joints, because there's a lot of little needle bearings inside there. And also this grease fitting needs to be facing inboard as well, toward the middle of the vehicle. This is the passenger side inner shaft. So I'm gonna take this other cup off and get this thing started here. Okay. And the best way to do this, if I can get that in there, is to install the cup onto the U-joint first, and that way, and then pull it all the way up. That way, as you're attaching it in there, you're not going to knock any needle bearings out of place. I've gotten it covered. Okay, I had a real snag here. Napa sold me the wrong U-joints, but I didn't realize it until I'd already gotten this thing installed into the axle shaft. So I ended up having to destroy the thing to get it out of there. You can see where I cut it so I could get some flex on that because it was stuck in there. I blew the top off of one of the caps to try to get it out. I'm just glad I didn't damage the actual, yoke of the axle shaft here. But fortunately, they had the right ones. I guess the guy at Napa, even though I stressed that they were for the axle U-joints, not the drive shaft U-joints, he still ordered the wrong thing. So that one was a loss. But anyhow, I do have what I hope to be the correct ones now. They're made by SKF. I'd rather have Moog parts, but Napa did not have them. Well, let me put my phone down. I'll show these to you. Here's the SKF U-joint. So the only kind of a bummer about it is this does not have a grease fitting on it. These are sealed, but and they've got the C-clips. This is the critical thing here, the way these are held in by this C-clip, because the yoke on the axle shaft is not made like a drive shaft where you have a clip that goes here that sets inside. It's held in right there. So this is should be the right U-joint for the axles. I did notice when I took the old ones out that they were also a sealed unit. So I don't have any reason to believe that these are going to present any kind of problem. Certainly as long as I'll be driving it, they should be fine. But I'm going to get these installed, and hopefully there won't be any, hopefully they'll get installed without a hitch. Here we go. Okay, takes care of that. I already did the other one off camera, but I did want to show the process. So I always hold the U-joint up high enough to get the cup started so that the needles don't collapse in and you get some stuck in the top there. It'd be, catastrophic, because in pretty short order the thing would wear out, rubbing against the needle bearing where it's not supposed to be. And then get the cup started, very gently. And then once you've got that one down, put the C-clip in. And that way, when you start putting this one in, that one's not gonna move on you. But you gotta make sure that you get the C-clips all the way in. I had a little bit of trouble on the other one. Thought I had it in, but it wasn't in. And so fortunately I caught it. It was actually, bring it a little closer here. It was actually kind of in between the blue seal that slips over a groove on the U-joint. It was down in that groove, and at first I thought it was in the right place. It wasn't. It needs to be way back in there. So hopefully those they feel a lot better than the original ones do, that's for sure. Hopefully these will give me many years of service, and I won't have to pull this thing apart again. But even if I did, 10 years down the road, that's not too bad. So, all right, those are done, moving on. Okay, we got two pieces that have to go on to the end of the axle shaft here, and that is this rubber piece here. I watched how I took the part off, and so the flat side of it here goes on first with the flange facing the outside. Okay, unfortunately, I cannot get behind that bearing to knock that thing out of there. There's not any tool that I have that can get behind it adequately enough to pound it out. I've tried several times, can't get it out of there. So I've cleaned it up with brake clean and inspected it, and there doesn't seem to be any spalling or pitting on the bearings there. It's a caged bearing, so there's, you know, they're captured. So, unfortunately, I can't use my new bearing. I'm just going to repack this and go with it. And hopefully the other one's in good shape. This doesn't look like it's, you know, having, inspected a lot of bearings in my prior employment. This doesn't look like it's posing any problem at this point. All right, so I'm going to get packed, and there's a new seal in there too that I was careful to see when I took it out. That groove faces in. So I got the new seal in there, and I'm going to install the spindle. Here we go. Okay, I got my spindle on, and I got my backing plate, which follows that. And we get these torqued down to 30 foot-pounds. Okay, and this is the passenger side. All right. That one took some little extra finessing there. Okay, what I was showing in that last little bit, where I was showing you the washer or whatever you call it that goes on it after the this rubber seal. On the rubber seal, the squarish part goes toward the inside, you know, towards the axle or the differential. The flanged part faces out, and you've got to lubricate it. And then the washer has a chamfered side that faces in as well. Once you get it on, get a good amount of grease around there, and on this surface here where the spindle is going to ride, the bearing of the spindle, which brings me to that point. So the spindle, once again, I cleaned this bearing, inspected it real well, and it doesn't appear that it has any kind of spalling or otherwise objectionable indications of wear. So the actually looks looks very new, amazingly. I got it, you know, repacked with grease, and I got the seal in there that, you know, again, the groove faces in on that. So now I'm gonna get this spindle slipped on there, and let's see, I want this groove here to face up. Okay, the next piece to go on, I've got that fully seated down, is the backing plate, and it goes with the kind of the flange side facing in as well. Okay, that completes all of that. And so the only thing left to do, and probably wait till tomorrow to do that, is to repack my wheel bearings for the hubs, you know, rotor hub. And I'm gonna wait to put those on after this is actually already installed into the vehicle, just to try to reduce some of the weight that my boys are gonna have to heft for me. We're gonna use our John Deere tractor to move it down to the garage, which is what we did bringing it up, as well as the AMC 20. So we'll get this moved down to the garage and then kind of tilt the bucket and kind of let it slip off there. Put some packing blankets or something under it. Try not to score up the paint on there that I've done. And so yeah, so the rotor hubs and the locking hubs are the last step, besides getting all the front linkage all hooked back up, which I've got some new parts for that as well. The old ones were completely wore out, so while I needed to get new new tie rod ends and all that, I just said I'm gonna go ahead and I got heavier duty ones from Rugged Ridge, because I'm gonna be eventually running 33s on this. Right now I'm running 31 1050s. And so they recommend you run a heavier steering linkage when you're running bigger tires like that. So I went ahead and did that. And yeah, so I'm excited. Tomorrow I should be going back into the Jeep. So, all right. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.